Hi everyone, I'm Adrian Wilson from Mowlem International. I'm the Business Development Director. I see some familiar faces in this room who would know me from BHM Construction, which is part of the Mowlem Group. So I haven't changed companies, so just rebranded slightly.
In terms of infrastructure and Mowlem International capacity, and are you doing anything in the East African region?
Yes, currently we're doing a 6-lane motorway in Ghana, the Tamale of Flow, and we have another project in South America, an airport terminal building, and we're pursuing a project in Uganda.
Great. In terms of services that you're able to offer, what we do have right now in East Africa mainly is a lot of private investors going into small-scale infrastructure projects in terms of apartments, etc. Is there a way that you can actually work with these investors because they own their land assets? Do you have a solution that can actually create more scalable opportunities and solutions? Because if I build it, I'll only go as high as my pockets can go. What can you do in that space?
For us, we focus more on major infrastructure. So our business model is we seek to bring ECA funding to projects where we will then do the design and build. For us, we see opportunities within the partnerships that we form with the government. So we've heard from some ministers today, we've heard from the Permanent Secretary. We find in countries such as Uganda, the government have a clear picture of what is going to be sustainable, what is going to help the economic growth of the country. So we generally, my colleague here just touched on partnerships. Partnerships is at the core of everything we do. So from inception, we'll enter a market based on what maybe a ministry wants, maybe a president wants, maybe an implementing agent. And we work in partnership with them. So our core strategy is all about partnerships. And whether that's bringing the banks together, the ECA, the ministry, and then partnerships just grow from there at every level. So we've recently done 4 feasibility studies in Uganda. And to kind of touch on the minister's opening comments, we have a partnership with a local engineering consultancy. And the technical expert that we deal with is a lady called Monica, and she is a superstar. So again, the partnerships just grow and grow and grow as we enter into markets to achieve sustainable economic growth.
Thank you, Honorable. I'm sorry, I'm going to dig down a little bit on this one because it's been a question, usually some investors that come in and they have an opportunity, they are ready to start, but it has been locked with somebody who does not have the capacity. And so these opportunities kind of miss out. What we want to figure out, and now from private sector, is enough due diligence done that if I'm given exclusivity, I must have the capacity to execute. And again, I would like maybe now to take some guidance from our other market. So the minister will dodge that one. So we can see how do you do it in, let's say in the UK, an entity is given an exclusive to do an execution of a project. How do you guarantee and ensure that we don't stall lack because of financing and funding? Is that a challenge in this space? So I see you shaking your head, so I'm throwing it at you directly. Oh, you want to send it to Mr. Wilson?
Was that to me?
You can start and he can finish.
Well, a recent example in London is the new Elizabeth line, which, if anybody hasn't been on it yet, it's amazing. Thank you. So it's an amazing new train line going right from East London to West London, under the city. It was funded by government money, but it was also funded by, there's a membership organisation called Business LDN, used to be called London First, if anyone's familiar with that. And they're the membership organisation of the biggest corporates in London, representing at least 25% of the GDP of London. And they put funding into that project. So it was government and, in effect, private from members of a business membership organisation.
So what can we learn from how projects are done? Because really financing is financing. But what can we learn from there that if a contractor, if somebody is awarded a project, what are those safety nets that you put in place that means that it won't stall because they're looking for finance? What do we do different in this market?
Gosh.
You can pass the question on if it's tough.
I'll pass it on and I'll have a think.
For us, as I say, what we do is we partner up from the start to make sure that a project is a priority. Mm-hmm. If it is a priority, the government is going to back it. Mm-hmm. If the government back it, there's multiple resources for finance. To touch on what Francois was talking about earlier, they have 1 to 2 billion worth of financing available through UKEF for Uganda. Mm-hmm. So if the project is a priority, mm-hmm. the financing should never become an issue.
So if I get a project and I stall, I can come back to UKF and we can move forward with it.
In the original answer I was giving you.
Let me take it to Ms. It's a challenge we have across the region. So we're not just talking about Uganda. It's a challenge. So we'd like to see what we have on that since we're talking infrastructure today.
Yes, I feared it was going to end up like that. Each time you ask a question about finances, am I the last one, or can I give to somebody else? After?
No. It ends at you, sir.
No, I think you're right. I mean, if we have the capacity, we will certainly look at the project. Now, those projects tend to be complex projects, and what we see from experience is you have different financial stakeholders will look at it. And it's important to keep that in mind because you can get sources of funding which are cheaper from other financial stakeholders. What we give is link, as I mentioned, to the UK export. And I think when you look at those projects, you really have to look at all what's on offer and end up with a kind of a blended funding if you want. Okay. But if the project is good, if we are satisfied with the risk and the counterparty risk, and if we get the right support from the authorities, yes, we look at those projects.
Yeah. So Africa is open for business, and so London is open for business with Africa. We look forward to sharing ideas, collaborating, and doing business. And it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to say this is the 3rd year that I have attended this event, and this year is another great year. I've enjoyed all the previous speakers, and I'm sure the next speakers that come will be as informative. So I just wanted to thank the organisers for putting it on and having me here. Secondly, to finish off, I have spent most of the last 2 years living in Kampala, Nakuru Hill, in a lovely, lovely area. I find Uganda economically a great place to do business. I find the people to be fascinating, great people as well. And I find the environment to be fantastic as well. Of all the places that I've worked and lived, whether that's South America, parts of West Africa and other parts of East Africa. So for the likes of our friend who asked the last question, who says he's thinking about going to Uganda, whether that is for business, tourism or enjoyment, I recommend that you do go.
Thank you so much. Lily, you see there is somebody here doing some work for us, eh? Mr. Panetti, please.
Yes, thank you. So I just wanted to reiterate our willingness, appetite to do more in Eastern Africa. We have actually a lot of transactions in our pipeline. And as you know, those things take a very long of time to mature and to get to conclusion. So that's going to be our focus in the coming month. But we like to do business in Africa because we normally manage to help a lot our UK exporter, but also to finance projects which have a real impact on the local communities, on the country in which we work. And it fits very well with our mission, which is to fit those two criteria. So more of it, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'd like to really thank my panelists. Thank you so much. You've been amazing. I'd also like to thank the audience. Thank you so much. Basically, Uganda is ready for business. Infrastructure, please do come. And let's make sure that next year we're celebrating while we're opening new opportunities. I hand over to you, Daniel. Thank you.
I think they deserve another round of applause. Thank you very much.